Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our City of Port St. Lucie City Council meeting this Monday, March 9th, 2026 at 1:01 p.m. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Pickett?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Martin?
Here, ma'am.
Councilman Bonnet?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Caraballo?
Here, ma'am.
Please stand for the invocation and the pledge.
Almighty God in heaven, we ask thy blessings upon those gathered here this afternoon and upon all the citizens of Port St. Lucie. Look with favor on our leaders and give them the insights, the wisdom, and the patience to deal with the problems and tasks coming before them. Please bless their work and their deliberations. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Proclamations and special presentations. To accept the fiscal year 2023-24 1/2-cent sales tax annual report.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, and City Manager's Office. Colt Swear, Public Works Director. It's had the distinct honor of introducing a very familiar face for you all with Mr. Kenneth Kroll, who is going to be presenting the Citizen Oversight Committee presentation on the 1/2-cent sales tax.
Great, thank you so much, Colt. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and members of City Council. As previously introduced, my name is Ken Kroll, and I have the honor of serving as the Chair of the Infrastructure Citizen Surtax Oversight Committee. On behalf of my fellow committee members, I am pleased to report the 7th Annual Infrastructure Surtax Report for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. This presentation fulfills our responsibility under Resolution 18-R95, which requires the committee to provide City Council with an update of the use of the surtax proceeds. This program continues to play a vital role in improving our city's infrastructure and quality of life. The committee's work is guided by two primary objectives: to ensure the surtax expenditures comply with the Florida statute, section 212.055, and the approved ballot language, and to confirm that these expenditures comply with the city's ordinance 18-50 and the 2018 sales tax referendum 10-year plan. I'm pleased to report that between October 1st of 2024 and September 30th of 2025, received all the necessary documents, plans, budgets, permits, and reports to thoroughly evaluate the city's progress. After careful evaluation, the committee determined that the city has used the sales surtax proceeds in the past year in full compliance with the law and the ballot language. These expenditures are fully aligned with the council-approved 10-year plan. I'd like to thank the City Council for entrusting us with this important oversight responsibility. I'd also extend special thanks to the City Manager staff, the Sales Tax Action Team, Public Works Leadership, and the City Clerk's Office for maintaining the committee's public records and supporting our work. I would also like to recognize the dedicated members of the Infrastructure Surtax Committee: Robert Christian, who's our Vice Chair, Ernest Bowden, our Chair Pro Tem, Colleen Calvin, James Ashburn, Donna Hudson, and Tara Harper. Their consistent attendance at quarterly meetings and active involvement in the oversight have helped us fulfill our board's community responsibilities. We'd also like to give special thanks to Colt Swart, Tom Salvador, and Ms. Jasmine Padova. For their outstanding support, they greatly contributed to the committee's success. Since the voter approval of the 1/2-cent sales tax referendum in 2018, the program has generated approximately $74.9 million in surtax funds to date. I'd like to highlight some of the key accomplishments over these years. Sidewalks to date: 13.7 miles of new sidewalk have been completed thanks to $5.3 million in surtax funding. Road resurfacing: over 83 miles in roads have been repaved with an investment of $11.6 million. The Floresta Corridor Improvements Phase 1 and 2. This transformative project has delivered significant benefits, including improved traffic flow and safety along the corridor, enhanced pedestrian and bicycle connectivity, particularly for the school access, and alignment with the city's strategic goal of high-quality infrastructure and facilities. Community impacts: in addition to major initiatives, surtax funding has supported numerous smaller projects throughout Port St. Lucie, including signal upgrades, pedestrian safety enhancements, such as improved crosswalks and lighting stormwater and drainage upgrades to reduce localized flooding, and sidewalk extensions connecting residents to schools, parks, and other community hubs. Together, these projects contribute to a safer and more connected community for all. Looking ahead, the committee recognizes several upcoming city initiatives, including the anticipated completion of Floresta Phase 3 and the plan started and designed for the California Boulevard widening project from Crosstown Parkway to St. Lucie West Boulevard, which are expected to provide additional mobility and safety and benefits for the community as a whole. As the city enters the final years of the voter-approved infrastructure sales tax, it is important for the community to understand what is at stake. This surtax has funded roadway improvements, stormwater and drainage improvements that reduce localized flooding, and safety and mobility enhancement that strengthens our city's infrastructure. Without renewal, many of these improvements would have been delayed, eliminated, placing greater financial pressure on property tax holders. Renewing the surtax allows the cost to be shared by the residents, businesses, and visitors, while preserving a stable, transparent funding source that voters originally endorsed. Continued investment through the surtax helps maintain momentum, public safety, and the quality of life as our city continues to grow. I encourage the public to visit the PSL half-cent sales tax project's website on the city's webpage. It's a great way to see how these funds are being used to make a real difference in Port St. Lucie. On behalf of the Infrastructure Surtax Citizens Oversight Committee, I respectfully request the City Council accept the fiscal year 2024-2025 annual report. Thank you for your time and your continued support for this important program.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service on the board and to all the members of the committee as well. Really appreciate your hard work and looking at everything we do. Can't thank you enough. Council, any questions, comments?
I do, but I didn't know if you, I thought
Did you have something?
Councilman Bonner was leading
Yeah,
it.
he was leading it.
I just wanted to echo your comments, Mayor, about thanking you for your service, because one of the important things when a local government goes to a community and asks for this investment in our roads and infrastructure is the independent look that you guys give at the expenditures and making sure that we're doing what we say we're going to do. And so because of your service, I think the voters especially trusted to move this forward. And so I wanted to thank you because it's an important piece of that.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So Ken, how long have you served on the Citizens Oversight Committee?
Since the beginning.
Yeah. So I know you've been there a long time, and I really truly appreciate your service, and it's really important, like Councilman Bonner just said, the importance of the Citizen Advisory Committee. Rightfully so, there's a discussion that's occurring around the state, especially about government and government waste and how government chooses to spend their money, and this citizen board is citizen-led, an unpaid board. We don't have any paid boards in the city, but an unpaid board that provides feedback to the board, but more importantly ensures that it's being fiscally responsible in how it's spending and it's abiding by the laws. The question that I have, because this has come up in previous council meetings, and I haven't seen you since the last time you reported, so I would love to hear your thoughts on this, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. But Floresta is a perfect example of that project. So initially when we started that project, it had a budget, I want to say for the entirety, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, about what did you say, Mr. City Manager, about $26 million? And as things have happened in the world and phases have occurred, costs have been rising. And so I'm wondering, I'm sure you get presentations and such. What are your thoughts as far as the rising cost of these projects, and why is the city having to expend more funding in those areas?
The cost of doing construction is rising. I mean, one of the things that when this surtax originally started in 2018, 2019, when it really started, got into going, we had COVID. So a lot of things were shut down. A lot of materials weren't coming in from overseas, for other roadway projects, which means it took a drain on a lot of the local material that we have here that you would use for a city project. The department, DOT would get in there first and get their stuff. So everything cost a little bit more. And after everything kind of returned to a sort of normal, the prices never really came down. So it kind of, the cost of the projects, especially Floresta, reflects what the going rate per mile to build is.
So would you say that not only did we spend according to what statute required, but that we were as fiscally responsible with the dollars given as we could and tried to get as materials as cheaply as possible and labor as affordable as possible.
You have. The Public Works and Engineering Department of Port St. Lucie has worked very well with the contractors, especially with Floresta, to minimize the overhead costs, especially having the same contractor that's out there. I mean, competitively bid, but having them already in place lowered a lot of the cost of mobilization and other items. They already were set up.
Yep, and I know we're publicly, we're public figures, so people come to us all the time, but I'm sure yourself and the board, if any member of the public wanted to engage you in conversations of, is the city spending money fiscally responsible with the sales tax, I'm sure you guys would be very open to it as well.
Absolutely. I think with this committee, it's probably, and I can't speak for any other committees, but for this one, I can say that the money is closely monitored.
Thank you. I appreciate the time, council, but as we continue having the discussion with the public, if property tax is going to be on top of mind, but fiscal spending and responsibility is, and so I think it's important that we just ask these questions to those individuals that we've entrusted to give us the real feedback. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Thank you, sir, for your report. And it's very refreshing to hear somebody come in here and say that government is spending your money wisely, because the hot topic of today is how government is not spending the money wisely. So to hear that, we're actually taking the money that we said and doing the things that we said we were going to do with it is for me, it's very refreshing. And it's also what's nice to see is as you drive around town, these projects that we're doing, you see the sign there that says this project was paid for you by your half-cent sales tax. And I think that's very important for transparency to the public, that where we can see that's where that money's going to. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any final discussion? All those in favor? Aye. And opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again, sir. All right, we're moving on to public to be heard. This is your opportunity to speak to the council for up to 3 minutes on any non-agenda related item. I have 2 people who have signed up to speak. Mr. Moore? Hello, sir. It's so nice to see you.
Good to see you, Mayor Martin, Council. My name is John Moore. I live in District 3, have since 1989, seen a lot of changes, mostly positive. The reason I came today, I saw something in the paper that concerned me, and it was regarding 2 pending bills before the legislature. One is Senate Bill 1134, and the other one is House Bill 1001, both of them having to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, there are some restrictions in these 2 bills, if you will, on the things that municipalities, local governments, whatever, can do in regards to putting money up or sanctioning it or whatever. Now, I believe you all are familiar with these 2 pieces of legislation or these 2 bills, but I brought both of them, the summary of both, just in case you weren't, and I'll read it right quick. But I guess my question is, and I don't expect an answer now, the city puts on a lot of activities to encompass and address all the needs of all of its citizens. And Mayor Martin and I have talked about in the past that all of our needs need to be addressed. So I guess my question is, and to be answered whenever y'all get a chance or whatever, has the city thought about if this passes, what would be your approach to continue those same activities that you have put on in the past? And I won't go through the trouble of naming any of those activities. You know those better than I do, because you have approved them. But that's basically what I have. Thank you very much.
Very much, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Spence? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I have a neighbor. I hate to be a pain in the neck. We've gotten along so really well since they moved in, but they planted those god-awful areca palms right on the property line, which means the base of those can be between 5 to 10 feet wide, constantly overgrowth on my property. I came in, I spoke to code enforcement, a wonderful lady at the window, very nice, and she says that basically it falls on the homeowner who didn't plant them on my side of the property to maintain those. I see other cities are starting to put in place where they're trying to curb people from, instead of my neighbor wanting the whole plant on his property, he only wants a portion of it on his property, and the other portion gets stuck on my property, which leaves me holding the foot of now cleaning up his mess of his trees. Those things are extremely, they constantly grow. You have constant maintenance on them. Is this city able to put something in place to prevent that? I'm stuck with what I have now. I'm stuck with the nonsense. But future homeowners should not have to deal with this. And I know in the city's codes, you guys recommend that they put them 4 to 5 feet in. But is there something that if you know that a tree, a bush, or whatever is going to be 8 to 10 feet wide, that they're required to put it onto their property so it doesn't become the adjoining neighbor's problem? I'm just curious. And then the other thing is, can we get Floresta mode between Port St. Lucie Boulevard and Crosstown? The weeds are up to my knees. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are all the cards that I have signed up to speak. Would anyone else like to address the council at public to be heard? Seeing no one, I will close public to be heard. Mr. City Attorney, with regard to Mr. Moore's question regarding these two bills, can you provide some context and answer that for us?
Sure, I can look the bills up. I'm not intimately familiar with them, but just looking online, it looks like SB 1134 was passed last week by the Senate and is in messages now. So there'll be some impact to that. And there's obviously a summary of each bill that reflects Mr. Moore's understanding. So what we do next as a city would have to be something we confer on internally,
Right.
on what we're allowed to spend our money on,
Right.
public funds.
Right. Did you have something, Vice Mayor?
Yes, I just want to share. Thank you so much, Mr. Moore, and I appreciate so much when residents come to the podium to discuss state advocacy issues, because a lot of these issues come to our table and we become preempted, which this is a preemption, and then they're upset with us because we can't solve their issue for them, and a lot of times it's because the state has preempted us. I don't know if this is still moving. I want to get you that answer first. I'll have my team look into it and let you know, because the Senate bill's moving, but I don't know if the House bill's moving. Right now, the report I got this morning was that we're looking to send die, but it's most likely they're not even going to have budget done. So if they send die, from what I've been told, all policy discussions at that point are dead, if whatever hasn't been passed. And then you're going to move forward into special session. And so I don't know where the other bill is right now. That being said, I encourage you to join. It's called Local Voices United. And that is the public or the resident end of the Florida League of Cities, which helps us advocate on these issues. Because if you're excited about this one, I have so many more we can talk about. So I'm gonna ask you to continue to stay involved. And then Ms. Spence, I wanted to get to your issue. I do want you to provide Ms. Spence the background on this. From what I recall, I think that there's a state statute that doesn't allow us to be able to enforce it, that they have to enforce what's not on their property line. The only reason why I'm recalling it this way, and I could be saying it completely wrong, is remember we used to do the lot clearings, or we do lot clearings, and there was a lot of navigating on how do we clear a lot that's derelict, that's not being responsible, that's encroaching in someone else's property. And I think that there was a lot of state issues, and we found a way to do it on an empty lot. But from what I was told, it's almost virtually impossible to do on an already improved lot. But I'll let you get with the city attorney to help sort that out. And then, Mr. Manager, I don't know if you were in the back, but I just wanted to say she had mentioned something about Floresta as far as mowing. So I don't know if we wanted to have JD look at that really quick. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think some of the issue revolving around the placement of trees, I'm speaking generally, not as an encyclopedia of every law written. There's common law that governs tree placement and maintenance and the obligations. So I think that's where you're stuck. What we can do is take a look at our city code to see if there's any flexibility from a regulatory standpoint and we'll get back with you.
Yep, and then also look into the lot cleaning program, because I don't know if we have that still, but if we do that, we did that before.
Any other comments? All right. We'll move on from public to be heard to additions and deletions to the agenda and approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to approval of consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 8, second reading of ordinances. 8A, ordinance 26-18.
An ordinance of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, abandoning a portion of a 20-foot wide rear utility and drainage easement affecting Lot 57, Block 206, Port St. Lucie, Section 13, according to the plat thereof, recorded in Plat Book 13, pages 4A through 4M of the Public Records of St. Lucie County, Florida, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Council, is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2618.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8B, ordinance 26-19.
An ordinance of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, abandoning portions of the access and utility easements affecting parcel 1 of Gatlin Plaza condominium according to the declaration of the condominium of Gatlin Plaza condominium recorded in Official Records Book 3409, page 2468 of the Public Records of St. Lucie County, Florida, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Council, is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 26-19.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8C, ordinance 26-20.
An ordinance of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, abandoning a portion of a 20-foot wide rear utility and drainage easement affecting Lot 4, Block 2218, Port St. Lucie, Section 33, according to the plat thereof as recorded in Plat Book 15, pages 1A through 1V of the Public Records of St. Lucie County, Florida, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Council?
Motion to approve ordinance 26-20.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 8D, ordinance 26-21.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a renewal lease agreement between the City of Port St. Lucie and Port St. Lucie Police Athletic League, Inc. for premises located at 2101 Southeast Tiffany Avenue, Port St. Lucie, Florida 34952, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Council, is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2621.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just want to thank them for what they do. I mean, it's amazing how they serve the kids in the community, and if your kid doesn't know about PAL, please go in and check them out.
Absolutely. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8E, ordinance 26-23.
An ordinance of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, dissolving the Sundance Community Development District pursuant to Section 190.04610 Florida statutes and repealing City Ordinance Number 24-26, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. This item is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the council? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Council?
Motion to approve ordinance 26-23.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to resolutions. 11A, Resolution 26-R18.
A resolution of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, authorizing and ratifying amendments to the city's 401 and 457B special pay plan, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Thank you. Council?
Motion to approve resolution 26-R18.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11B, Resolution 26-R19.
A resolution of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, authorizing and ratifying amendments to the city's Mission Square Retirement Defined Contribution 401A Plan documents and 457B Deferred Compensation Plan documents, providing for the addition of mandatory and optional provisions of the Setting Every Community Up for a Retirement Enhancement Act of 2019 and the Securing a Strong Retirement Act of 2022, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 26R19.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11C, Resolution 26-R20.
A resolution of the City of Port St. Lucie, Florida, authorizing the acquisition of real property described as Track E, Port St. Lucie, Section 19, as recorded in Plat Book 13, pages 19, 19A through 19K of the Public Records of St. Lucie County, Florida, and a portion of Track G, Port St. Lucie, Section 33, as recorded in Plat Book 15, 1A through 1V of the Public Records of St. Lucie County, for the Southwest Parr Drive Corridor Roundabouts Project. Additional green space with the future consideration for a passive park and stormwater retention as being a public necessity, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to take any and all appropriate actions to acquire the subject property in fee simple, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. I want to thank the city manager and the team for being able to bring this forward and acquire more land for green space, and also with the forward thinking, because we know in the future Savona is going to need to be widened and we are going to need more stormwater retention. And there's very few pieces of land where we're going to be able to get that stormwater retention. And this will improve the flows on either side in the future when we need that road widened. So thank you, Mr. City Manager, and to the team for that. I appreciate it very much. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 26-R20.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 13A, new business, request for attorney-client session with the city council to discuss pending litigation in the matter of City of Port St. Lucie versus Waste Pro of Florida, Inc., case number 2021-CA-001628. Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Mayor and City Council. As the item indicates, just under Chapter 286 Florida statutes, we're allowed to meet in the shade on pending litigation with council members, the city manager, and myself and our outside counsel for the specific purposes of discussing strategy or negotiation only. Just so everyone knows, that's taken down and transcribed. This is the first step. I have to ask at a public meeting to hold the meeting. Our next step will be to properly notice the meeting for shade.
Great. Thank you very much. Council, is there a motion?
Motion to approve 13A.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 13B, request for attorney-client session with the city council to discuss pending litigation in the matter of McTeague Construction Company, Inc. versus the City of Port St. Lucie, case number 2025-CA-2754.
Same request, Madam Mayor, different case, same criteria.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
That was planned.
That was. No,
Practice that.
it was not. It's just joking. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to the city manager's report. Mr. Morejo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just really quick, as we know that green space is really important not only to our residents but also to this council. And I know Rouser has been in the news for a little while, but I do want to report that Rouser Lakes now is open from 8 a.m. to sunset, 7 days a week. And our residents can enjoy kayaking, biking, and enjoying those beautiful trails and that natural resources out there. So that is my report. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know everyone's looking forward to be able to utilize that beautiful green space that we acquired a few weeks ago now. Awesome. Councilwoman Morgan.
Okay, on February 25th, the fire board meeting, the 26th chamber board meeting. Oh, lots of boards. On March 2nd, thank you, Chief, for arranging this. I did a tour of the new police training facility. Wow. We say wow a lot on this, but it unbelievable. Kudos to everything. It is going to be amazing when that opens up. On March 3rd, the EDC luncheon where Peppa and also Stephen Vancourt gave an update on the soccer stadium. And then on the 4th, a beautiful day at the Port Preserve Trail at the ribbon cutting. And I just wanted to bring up, I've been doing quite a few ride-alongs with the fire district at different stations. I am known as the White Cloud. Nothing ever happens. They love me. I think they're all taking bids on me to come ride with them. However, when riding with Station 10 and getting out there at Dalton and Port St. Lucie Boulevard was a nightmare. And it was, it's very scary, and I get it, because I can be at a stoplight and you hear all the sirens and the and they're trying to get through as fast as possible to a call, and you freeze because you don't know where to go. I wanted to give kudos because I did send an email to Chief Langle and also to Public Works, and they're working on it, and gave them the update. And they've moved Dalton up a little bit because it is so critical for that station to get out. So I appreciate that. And just be aware when you hear those sirens and then you see us, not us, but them, but flying by, and we were actually out going to a structure fire, and I don't know how many stations got called, and you're getting everybody out of the way, and then the call gets canceled, which is a good thing. But then people look at you like, why did you just do that to me? So you never know what's going to happen, and it can save a life. So be aware of your surroundings and just get out of the way. And it will be easier soon once the lights are all taken care of. So thank you for letting me do that little spiel. Grab the green, Port St. Lucie, because our annual Irish Festival is here. Join us from 3 to 9, Saturday, March 15th at the Mid-Florida Event Center for music, traditional Irish performances, food, marketplace vendors. You can eat, drink, and shop, and listen to music for free. Well, the food's not free. And cultural activities. The parade starts at 3. And that there will be Palm Beach pipes and drums and the Terna Grania.
Say that again.
Terna Grania. I had to go look it up to see how to say it, but evidently it is School of Irish Dance. So I would have just said, come out and see a jig. But don't miss the traditional Irish music from Rory Makem and also Howley. So come on out and have fun, and best wishes for good weather for you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pickett?
Thank you, Mayor. February 24th, I attended the Glades Cutoff PD&E study, and it was interesting to me to see what the county proposed to put forward on that much-needed improvements on that corridor. And it looks like once everything's done, it's going to be nice. So also, March the 4th, I attended the Treasure Coast Council of Local Governments, and this past Saturday, I attended the funeral for a longtime Port St. Lucie resident, Miss Beryl Boucher. She was 105 years old. She just celebrated her 105th birthday a couple months ago and passed away in February. So, and my announcement is the next phase of our shore stabilization initiative along the E8 Canal is set to begin this month when crews start placing rocks along the canal bank that stretches south of Southwest Aaron Lane and north of Southwest Harrison Avenue. This final phase marks a significant milestone in the city's efforts to safeguard neighborhood infrastructure and improve water management. These improvements are funded through stormwater fees, which allow us to maintain and upgrade critical stormwater infrastructure ensuring a safe and resilient environment for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Yes, on the 3rd, I attended the EDC luncheon with the PSL Sports Club. Fantastic job. They also reported that they were on time and on budget, which is great. And hopefully it'll be very soon. And the school, like not the school, but the training ground for youth, they were talking about that. I really want to get that out more because I think that's going to be amazing for the community. 3-4 Port Preserve Trail ribbon cutting, which was fantastic. And then on Saturday, I was not able to attend the Little League or Miss Boucher's service. Unfortunately, my daughter, well, not unfortunately that my daughter got baptized, but she was baptized, so we had family in town. But I do want to say, Councilman Pickett, thank you so much for going to Miss Boucher's service. I mean, she was amazing, not only 105, but she was all there. I mean, every year, I know we all took turns going to her birthday celebration at the local church. And every year I spoke to that woman, she was just 100% there, just active, asking about my family, asking about us as a city. I mean, she's going to be sorely missed, but I know she's with her Lord celebrating with all of her family. And with that, today is the first day of Flood Awareness Week, which is a great time to enhance your preparedness and safety measures at home. Some things you can do now is learn about flood risks in your area and their potential impacts on your home. Read up on how to secure your property and create an emergency kit. Did you know that the city participates in National Flood Insurance Rating Systems as a Class 5? What does that mean? That means that all properties in the special flood hazard area receive a 25% discount on flood insurance policy, and other properties have received a 10% discount as of April 1st, 2023. For more information about this, visit www.cityofpsl.com/flood. With that, Mr. City Manager, I think too this fact is important when we discuss stormwater in the budget season. We need to talk about how stormwater improving our flood rating helps keep people's insurance rates down, and we all know how expensive insurance is, so any savings is huge to the community. And also, just real quick off the subject, but kind of on the subject, yard waste for the freeze. Any update? I know staff was trying to see if we could have an additional pickup or a larger pickup of some kind, because I had a resident that was inquiring about having to cut back more than normal because of the freeze. Do we know?
Yeah, we're evaluating that, and we'll get back with council once we have something, a plan in place.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Bana?
Thank you, Mayor. So yesterday I attended one of the big events in our community, the Yankees-Mets game. Anthony and I were in pinstripes. They were doing...
Absolutely not acceptable.
The Yankees were doing okay, but then we had to leave a little early to go to my wife's birthday party, and things fell apart. But so we won't talk about how it ended, but it was a disaster.
Go Mets. Go Mets.
I'm a St. Lucie Mets fan. But on the 7th, I attended 2 opening days, PSL softball, girls softball at Jessica Clinton Park, and then right after Southwestern Port St. Lucie Little League, where I was a star right fielder, and I like to say a cleanup hitter, the number 9 position in the batting order, when I was a youth. And so we attended both of those, and then it was a 70s inspired evening, although I just was in a plain green shirt and jeans at the Humane Society's Blue Jean Ball. On the 5th, we checked out the St. Lucie County Fair, which was phenomenal this year. The 4th, the Port Preserve Trail ribbon cutting. The 27th of February, did a speaking engagement at Lake Park at Town Park. Thank you. I see Peter Webb in the audience, so he was there as well. The 26th, Opioid Abatement Advisory Committee. The 24th, I did a town hall at Vitalia. The 23rd was our last council meeting, and it was the first meeting that I have missed in my entire term on council. When we went on my honeymoon, my wife did a city council meeting with me in Iceland. I did a meeting on a bench in Italy. I did a meeting at like 4 a.m. in Israel when I was on pilgrimage. So, but we have a new bishop in the area, and I was able to go to Vespers welcoming the new bishop in. So I want to talk because I didn't get the microphone at that meeting. I have to talk about the weekend before that meeting, what I call Super Saturday. So I started at a human trafficking awareness event with UACT, which previously called the Florida Faith Alliance. I talked about the city's initiatives and kind of updated a lot of the stakeholders on our efforts. Then went to opening day at Met Stadium. Then attended the Ken Frid Memorial Barbecue and also the Graceway Village Celebration Under the Stars. And then the next day, I took my 2 dates to the Daddy-Daughter Dance, which is one of the most phenomenal events we do in the city. So thanks, staff, for doing that. And now that I've done 2 reports in one, the city has received the Government Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Award for fiscal year 25-26. The award is the highest form of recognition in government budget. This achievement marks the 37th consecutive year the city has received this award in recognition of its commitment to meeting the highest principles of governmental budgeting. In addition, the city's budget also received outstanding ratings for performance measures, special strategic goals, and strategies and budget process. All right, that is my report.
You did forget one thing.
What did I forget?
Didn't you hear Councilwoman talk about Irish Festival? Do you not have a special person in your family that can actually Irish dance?
Aubrey is an Irish dancer. You may or may not see her there. Yeah.
Forgetting he's not Irish. He's Italian.
She's really good, though.
I don't think he speaks Gaelic.
And something special happened at Whispering Pines. I'll let the mayor talk about that, but that was really awesome what you did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So also had Fireboard. I spoke at Valencia Walk last week. It's nice to be able to get into Valencia Walk. It's one of the newer Riverland communities. Hadn't been there before. I did Caribbean Radio last week. We did have opening day for Little League softball. It was awesome. Girl power. More power to the young ladies out there. Southwest Little League opening day. Got to commend Sean Lewis. Boy, oh boy, does he put on an amazing opening day. I think it just gets better and better every year. And for those that don't know Sean has been the president of the Southwest Little League for 20 years running, has worked with over 20,000 kids and their families. And Councilwoman Bonner and I, for all of his work and his dedication and partnership with our amazing Parks and Rec department, Councilwoman Bonner and I presented him with the key to the city on Saturday morning. So that was really awesome. He's just an amazing guy, and it's not just about baseball, or for him, it's about faith, it's about family, it's about community. And the way he has brought so many people together has just been really, truly amazing. And so he's well-deserved of that recognition. And of course, our amazing Port Preserve Trail, we opened last week, and as part of my announcement, we unveiled that new destination for nature lovers on March 4th with the grand opening of the Preserve Trail, 13-acre conservation area and scenic preserve at the Port District. It offers residents and visitors a peaceful retreat to relax, walk, and enjoy the outdoors right in the heart of our city. It also connects to the existing boardwalk along the North Fork of the St. Lucie River, which spans more than 3/4 of a mile. This project is part of the city's Naturally PSL Green Spaces and Places initiative, which supports increasing residents' access to parks, trails, and natural areas. And we also received a grant from the Florida Inland Navigation District, so it's important to thank that board and Chair Trabulsi for that as well. I know we all had an opportunity to walk the trail, and it was really beautiful. I had family in town over the weekend from Connecticut and from Flagler Beach, some aunts and uncles who came down to visit, took them to the Port District, and they absolutely loved it. Got to walk on the boardwalk a little bit, and they also remarked how absolutely beautiful it was. And told me to thank all of you on the council for such a beautiful place for residents and visitors to enjoy. So with that, that's all I have, and we are adjourned.